Hello everyone, welcome to episode 2 of the Ottoman Empire in Kaiserreich. And we're picking where we left off in the last episode. So we finished this, we expanded the education ministry. We chose to unite or to unite the education. I think so. Yeah, we centralized the Ottoman education system. We chose to, yeah. So now we're founding the Judicial Commission. Okay. And one thing I forgot is to assign generals to all of these positions. I mean, I just put everyone. I don't really care who goes where. Okay. That's okay. And so Anton Sade publishes The Genesis of Nations. A journalist from Beirut is making shockwaves in the Syria Vilayet with this romantic view of the greater Syria freeing from Ottoman rule. Taking inspiration from the ancient Assyrian Empire and the return to the fertile crescent of old, he pleads for a nation spreading from the Suez Canal in the south to the Tarsus Mountains in the north, and from Kuwait in the east to Cyprus in the west. Though the survival of a nation consisting of such a massive amount of different ethnicities and religions seems a fairy tale. The man not only follows closely to the Kemalist ideal of a secularist state, but also inspiration from the syndicalist power seems apparent as well, with a focus on abolishing feudalism, nationalizing vital areas of the economy, mandatory education, and universal healthcare. Even though its popularity amongst the Syrian people seems rather low, for now the governor of Beirut has ordered his arrest and the man has been imprisoned for treason against the state and instigating revolutionary activities. We have authoritarian democracy minus 5%. Popularity. That is authoritarian democrat. I think so. That's our party, I think. Okay, delusion of okay. Samsung Iktisat Congress. Crisis, chaos, disaster. All across the world, economists and business owners are in a state of panic, as the unthinkable finally happened earlier this week, when the Berlin Stock Exchange collapsed. Similar to Berlin, Constantine is on high alert for any changes to the situation as they watch the economy collapse into the ground. Nonetheless, there is far less of a crisis in the empire than many initially expected, as the protectionist nature of the empire during the 20s has formed the foundation of a structure capable of resisting most shocks on the global market. To ensure the fears of the pirate sectors are quelled, and to outline the next 4-year plan envisioned by the OHF's economic partners, a second economic congress is planned to be held in the city of Samsun on the Black Sea, combining both projects from the private sector and showcasing the advances of the Turkish economy over the last few decades. It will not only serve as a way to calm down Ottoman investors, but also as a showcase of the modernizing Ottoman nation of the world. He opened the SIK gains-based ability minus 20%, and economic depression, which grants consumer goods factories factor 20%, construction speed minus 30%, factory output minus 30%. That's oof. Where is that? This. Okay. I think after this we should. Game-based ability. Yeah, we should focus on this. Construction speed, factory output, monthly population stability, and remove economic depression. Yeah, I think we should go for that. This just gains some political power. Renovation of the Topkapi Palace completed. In 1459, Mehmed the Conqueror ordered the construction of Topkapi Palace, the former imperial residence of the House of Osman. As the centuries dragged on, however, the sultans and their households preferred their older residences on the Asian side of the Bosporus, leading to the court moving over to the Dolmabahce Palace, nonetheless retaining some of its former functions, such as the imperial treasury. The palace was finally emptied in 1927 after the death of Mehmed VI, the year earlier. Sultan Abdulmesid II, a patron of the arts and famous artist himself, subsequently granted the grounds to the Ottoman state for use as a museum and art exposition. Closed for almost 8 years, the buildings were thoroughly renovated and restored in an attempt to once more show the splendor of the Ottoman Empire and hopefully rekindle the old Ottomanist spirit. Opened with a splendid party in the Enderun, the old Sultan himself presented a multitude of his own works and various masterpieces of contemporary Ottoman art to the gathered world press. It shines one more. Game-based ability 2%. Cool. Okay. OPAD strengthens hold in the Mashriq. The Ottoman Party of Administrative Decentralization is making increasing waves in the Mashriq, as a variety of parties in the Greater Syria region were absorbed into their organization. Although a similar hand was reached out to the Arab parties in Iraq, this offer was politely declined as fear of increasing Damascene influence amongst the Arab movement was seen as counterproductive to the ultimate goal of Arab autonomy. They are only making themselves a bigger target. Changing popularity of social liberalism, 5%. Okay. This Committee for Judicial Reform. The civil code we have used since the Tanzimat era of the Messel Code was first codified in 1877, based on the Islamic Hanafi legal tradition. The code was the first enforcement of a unified law over all Ottoman citizens who previously, according to the Millet system, used their own codes. For decades, this code has remained mostly unchanged and is in the eyes of many still an ancient relic of a bygone era. As it is based on Islamic law, many of the reformists have protested against it as they felt that religious law has no place in a modern secular state. Christian and Jewish citizens who previously used their own legal system remain discontent with it as well, and have urged the government to reform it, if not outright replace the dated code. Mustafa Kemal, who is likewise averse to its non-secular character, has thus opened a debate into the exploration of legal reform and formed a committee tasked with investigating possible judicial reform, consisting of ulema, administrative personnel, and Ottoman representatives from all millets. The committee will hopefully find a solution agreeable by all parties involved and shall present their findings as soon as possible. Another step for the reformists: change the popularity of the authoritarian democracy 3%, political power 15%. Okay, so what I want to do now, I'm going to put this on 4. Oops. Just so it runs. I'm going to put all of these in a fallback line here. They aren't caught if the revolution starts. Also these. I'm going to move them here. Just so if anything happens, I can ensure I can fight. I can actually fight here. Maybe I should move it more up. Let's delete this. And let's do a fallback line like... Wait. That should do it. Yep. Okay. Basis of the Reformed Code. As the Sublime Committee for Judicial Reform is taking progress in sifting through the 1851 articles of the Messal Code, the majority of the reformists in the committee have suggested looking towards the West for inspiration. Multiple different codes are being discussed as a baseline, although an overall tendency towards the Swiss Civil Code, both for its modernity and relatively easy application to the empire, seems to be prevailing. Others have pointed to the Austrian Empire, whose legacy as a multi-ethnic, multi-religious empire is eerily similar to our own. A small core of far-line ulema, however, have urged their committee members to not abandon the proud traditions of the Sharia code. I have suggested a reform of the Messal instead of a complete rewrite. Thanks. I don't know if this actually does anything. This just gains base ability. Swiss or Austrian civil code. I know that Austria has its own civil war later. So maybe not. So maybe basing the codes off of their multi-ethnic state is not so good because, well, you go into civil war. Swiss is, I mean, okay, and it's most popular. But this, I don't know. We gain base stability. I don't know if it'll have some other impacts. Let's base it off the Swiss code, because if it's the most accepted or most liked, I mean, why not? Okay. What's happening? Battle pens with no units assigned. No divisions. Delete that. Okay. Like that. Okay. Women's rights. Under the Messal Code, the status of women and men in our empire remains a vastly different affair. Both the women's share in the inheritance and the weight of women's testimony in the courts is half of that of the men. Subsequently, women are also barred from exercising all professions, which has given rise to a sizable emancipation movement clamoring for charge as women during the Weltkrieg were forced to take up a wide variety of professions and bonded together in small movements to out their non-violent protests against the government. Education as well, promoted by the late Bachdetten, has allowed women to involve themselves deeper into both politics and kindled in many a desire to perform a variety of strictly male professions. Polygamy and the vagueness of marital law are also up for reform, as they are not only seen as relics from the past but an obstruction to future reforms. Legal marriage, as well no voluntary action, should be made compulsory according to the Committee of all women Ottoman citizens, no matter their religion or ethnicity. Proved. Place of the woman is subservient to that of men. Let's put approved. It will gain some popularity but lose stability. I'm fine with that. Not that bad. Should get some aluminum. Let's get it from German Empire. Why not? Okay. Oh. Okay. Let's just do this. Mechanical computing, and let's read this. Riots in Damascus. Instigated by the sharp economic downturn in the region and populist rebel rousers, the Syrian people seem to be shifting the blame for the current economic crisis towards the central Ottoman government. The rapid decrease in price for agricultural produce, in the meanwhile, is taking a toll on the recently settled tribes of the Syrian hinterland, where banditry is increased by the day. In the intellectual center of both Syria and the Ottoman Arabs in general, a general strike against the government has been called. More disturbing, however, is the increasing polarization of the political landscape in Syria, as groups such as the authoritarian SSNP and the Syrian Syndicalist Party are growing in size and influence. Most troubling. See if you can we can't do anything. Okay. Maybe here, occupied territories. Syria, local police force. Can we actually do anything? Secret police. Oh, not the most manpower. There's a local police force then. Is that fine? It was local police force. Raise import tariffs. Okay. So, consumer goods and base rate. Let's do this. Okay. DDY absorbs the Chamins de Ferriento. The Chamins, okay, I don't know how that have officially been integrated with the DDY today after a short round of funding by the government was able to acquire the last remaining tracks from Austrian and German shareholders in the wake of the Berlin crash. The railway company, which was founded in 1868 to build a railway line connecting Vienna and Constantinople, has had a rough history as various wars, border adjustments, and financial crises left it broken up. Its most famous user, the luxury Orient Express, in the past connected Paris to our grand capital where it arrived in the Circassi terminal. The Weltkrieg, however, caused great damage to the company as the German Mitropa laid claim to a large portion of the assets in Central and Eastern Europe. Even though the Orient Express still arrives from Strasbourg, one cannot deny that the end is nearing for the imperialist grant of old. A worthy purchase. 2% stability. Great. Assigned divisions, nice. Put them here, because I think the civil war is going to happen. Okay, red riots in Aleppo. As the economic situation in the realm deteriorates, the Syrian city of Aleppo has once again been hit by bread riots. Even though the scope of these riots remains unclear for now, a mob assaulted Christian and Jewish bakeries and flour mills throughout the city. Luckily, the government was quick to intervene and was able to put the mob down after reinforcements from Anatolia arrived. 8 rioters were shot in the operation, but it seems that no fatalities were reported. Worrying. Aleppo too, damn. This is all low. Medium, medium, low, low, none. This is medium. Okay. Now let's Let's do this now. Okay. Paramilitary wing of the SSNP. Although the immediate popular response to Sade's party is limited at best, one cannot deny that it has not made a deep impression in the political scene of Syria. As opposed to the more traditional aristocratic and oligarchic parties in the cities of Damascus and Aleppo, this new organization has a central directive, a strong political message and a limited but dedicated core of supporters. Parading through the streets of Beirut, the new paramilitary wing of the party is certainly a sight to behold, as the Orient isn't used to this sort of militaristic and modern display of politics. Most troubling, -3% stability. Not that bad. Let's modify. What can I do? I can only put... I'm gonna do this. Does that help me? Land doctrine, mobile warfare doctrine. Nothing with this. Okay, I want basic machine tools. So now let's do dispersed industry. Okay, increased attacks in the Hejaz. Our momentary weakness is already showing its mark in the Hejaz, where delays in our payments that the tribal leaders have resulted in their retaliation. Caravans of pilgrims on their way to the holy cities are experiencing increased attacks from bandits and deserters, as the usual escorts turn a blind eye. These attacks are causing great damage to the prestige of the Caliph, and it may be the best to court the tribes with what little resources we have. Bring gifts to the tribes to court their favor. The Caliph does not bow to some goat herders with guns. I mean, 30 political power is not that much. I'm happy to give them. Stability is all we need. Okay. Trouble in Fezzan. When Ottoman rule was restored to the Fezzan interior during the middle of the 20s, few accepted it with open arms, and during the subsequent years the regime in Tripoli decided that maintaining a sizable force in the region would be too costly. Thus, the retreat of all troops, bar some small garrison, the urban centers has led to an almost entirely autonomous position for the local tribes. The tribes remain discontent, however, and influenced by the resurgence of the Senussi sect, tribes such as the Awlad Muhammad have started to show their resistance to the regime more clearly. Raids on Ottoman garrisons, their refusal to pay taxes, and their efforts to thwart conscripted have caused drastic issues for the few remaining forces in the region. A military expedition from the coast could restore order to the region. But with the large economic crisis still reigning, many wonder if it wouldn't be the best to withdraw all garrisons and grant the region de facto self-rule. In Tripolitania, there is less animus to abandon the region, as the valuable state production of Fezzan is essential a nation with so little rainfall. 10,000 unrest. Let's send in garrisons. Let's see logistics. We have... Oof. That's not good. Need to increase equipment. So what do we have? We have support equipment is fine. Artillery is fine. So let's do it like this. Maybe that way we can... And... It's alright. We'll leave it like this. $20. Oof. Okay. did this, now let's... Construction speed. Let's go with this. 10% factory output, that's a lot. Okay. Expanded the Mars system. Okay. Oof. Let's do this. Ooh, this is something new. Cool. Port equipment manufacturer. But it uses... I mean, 13 days for... How much do I have? 69 per day. 10. Yeah. That's really useful. Yo-yo inspired unrest in Sam. The yo-yo, a brightly colored children's toy, which rolls itself up and down a piece of string held between forefinger and thumb, is causing unrest in the city of Sam. After the city's Mufti held a fiery speech linking the toy to recent riots in the region and the Black Monday disaster. Funny. They said that while the people are praying for rain to come down from above, the yo-yo goes down and before reaching the ground springs up through the subtle pull of the string. Although this explanation for recent misfortune seems, even among conservative citizens, to be complete baloney. The influence held by the Mufti has still forced the governor to reconsider his opinion, and a heated debate was prompted in the Council of Sam. He must confiscate all yo-yos at once. It's just an innocent toy. I mean... That's... We confiscate yo-yos. Why would we confiscate yo-yos? Just an innocent toy. I mean, if it's... I really don't know. But... How is this... Social Democrat? Social conservatism. Syndicalist, radical socialism. Social conservatives, social conservative. 5%. I really don't know. It's just an innocent toy. So this will give Cyprus unrest will increase. No, I don't want that. Oh, Netherlands has joined the Rice Pact. And we do this, and then final. So what's happening in Germany? The Rice Pact is huge. Shouldn't like Norway go socialist? Oh, Finland is socialist. I mean syndicalist. Norway, I think, goes syndicalist most of the time. I think. And Third International. Only 3 countries? No, only 2 countries. Only Britain and France. Italy is not in affection. Okay. Why is Britain hating us? I mean France. Embargo, okay. Okay. So I think this is a perfect time to end the episode. And thank you for watching. And see you in the next one. Bye bye.